Hello students, I am Dr. Kalpit Ganesh Matre, Assistant Professor in Botany at Arts, Commerce and Science College, Lanza District, Ratnagiri. Today I will speak about structure and functions of nucleus. It is very interested topic as you can see the amazing slide on which I have kept title of today's topic. So let's continue with structure and functions of nucleus. This topic has been included in our unit cytology and molecular biology in botany paper 3 for semester 5. So before moving further with structure and functions of plant cell nucleus, we will see background about cytology and molecular biology. So what is cytology? It is defined as branch of biology as well as medicine that deals with structure and functions of plants and animal cells. So cytology is the branch of biology which deals with study of structure and functions of plant and animal cells. We all know that all living organisms are made up of cells, and cell is also known as physical and fundamental unit of life. Everybody is made up of different types of cells, and this study of plant and animal cells is called as cytology. One more definition is there. Cytology is the branch of biology dealing with structure, function, multiplication, pathology, and life history of cells. So we can call cytology as a branch which deals with study of structure, function, multiplication, pathology, and life history of cells. This cytology is also called as cell biology because whatever we study in the cytology is related with only cell, and hence it is called as cell biology. And the name of our unit is cytology and molecular biology. So in simple words, the definition of cytology is study of structure and function of plants as well as animal cell. Now we will see what is molecular biology. Molecular biology is study of biology on a molecular level. The name of the term indicates that molecular biology can be defined as the study of biology on a molecular level, which includes study of structure, function, and makeup of biologically important molecules such as DNA, RNA, and protein. So, in cell biology, we will study different aspects of cell, and in biology, we will study structure, function, and makeup of biologically important molecules. For example, DNA, RNA, and proteins. So in cytology, we will study overall information about cells, while in molecular biology, we will study molecular level structure, functions, and makeup of biologically important molecules such as DNA, RNA, and proteins. So this is how our unit is cytology and molecular biology. The field of molecular biology involves many other areas such as biochemistry and genetics, because whenever we will study structure, functions and makeup of DNA, RNA and proteins, then it will be associated with different branches of biology such as biochemistry and genetics. So this is how we are having our unit cytology and molecular biology. Now we will proceed with our today's topic, structure and functions of nucleus. Initially we will see what is nucleus and how the structure of nucleus is. So first of all we will see what is nucleus. So nucleus is a highly specialized organelle that serves as the information and administrative center of the cell. So whenever we want to define or describe nucleus, we can say that the nucleus is a highly specialized organelle which serves as the information and administrative center of the cell, because we all know that every living organism is made up of cell, and hence cell is known as structural and functional unit of life. And the nucleus is a highly specialized cell organelle which serves as the information and administrative center of the cell. This organelle has two major functions. It means plant nucleus or nucleus is having two major functions. First function is that it stores cell's hereditary material or DNA, and it coordinates the cell's activities, which include intermediary metabolism, growth, protein synthesis and reproduction. So these are the two major functions of nucleus. The first function is that nucleus stores the cell's hereditary material, that is DNA, because whenever new organism is formed, characters are transferred from parents to their children or offsprings, and all these characters are called as hereditary characters and which are present in DNA. And the chief and most important function of the nucleus is that it stores cell's hereditary material or DNA. It also coordinates cell's activities, which includes intermediary metabolism, growth, protein synthesis and reproduction by means of cell division. So overall, in growth and development, nucleus plays a very important role. If we want to say some more details about nucleus, then we can say that only cells of advanced organisms, which are known as eukaryotes, have presence of nucleus. It means eukaryotes shows presence of nucleus and prokaryotes shows absence of nucleus. So only the cells of advanced organisms known as eukaryotes have nucleus, and generally there is only one nucleus per cell, but there are few exceptions, such as in case of slime molds and siphonales group of algae, exceptions are there. So generally eukaryotes shows presence of nucleus, and that is only one nucleus per cell, but exceptions are there if we consider slime molds and siphonales group of algae. Simpler one-celled organisms which are known as prokaryotes like bacteria and cyanobacteria don't show presence of nucleus. So it is very important point that nucleus is present only in eukaryotes. Prokaryotes like bacteria and cyanobacteria don't show presence of a nucleus. In these organisms, means in prokaryotes, all the cell's information and administrative functions are dispersed throughout the cytoplasm. So whenever we are dealing with nucleus, it should be kept in our mind that nucleus is present in eukaryotes and it is absent in prokaryotes. The spherical structure of nucleus occupies about 10% of a cell's volume, making it cell's most prominent feature. So now we will go in detail with the structure of a nucleus. Before proceeding further, I will show you how the plant cell structure look like. This is the common diagram of plant cell structure. You have studied this plant cell structure in your 11th and 12th science. So this is the basic diagram of plant cell structure. I will zoom so that you can see the diagram properly. So this is the plant cell structure, and here in the middle side you can see blue, red or orange color circle is there, and that circle is called as nucleus. And today we will see the structure and function of that nucleus. So nucleus is present in the center of a plant cell. Now this is the actual diagram or 3D diagram of nucleus structure. You can see the information is given by giving labels to the diagram. So I will again zoom this diagram. So you can see this is nucleus structure and it is showing nuclear envelope which has two parts, outer membrane and inner membrane. Then it is having nucleolus. The liquid surrounding the nucleolus is called nucleoplasm. Then it is having chromatin which shows two types, heterochromatin and euchromatin. Then nuclear pores are there and few ribosomes are also seen. So this is the structure of a nucleus, and this structure is spherical. So the spherical nucleus occupies about 10% of cell's volume, making it the cell's most prominent feature. So this nucleus occupies 10% of volume as compared with plant cell. So again I will go back. So this is the diagram of plant cell, and you can see nucleus is there which occupies about 10% of cell's volume, making the cell's most prominent feature. Most of the nuclear material consists of chromatin, the unstructured form of the cells of DNA that will organize to form chromosomes during mitosis or cell division. Also, inside the nucleus, we can see presence of nucleolus. It is an organelle that synthesizes protein producing macromolecular assemblies called as ribosomes. You can see, I will zoom, chromatin is there and ribosomes are also there. So this chromatin produces protein producing macromolecular assemblies called as ribosomes. A double layered membrane, you can see, I will zoom, nucleus is double layered membrane. Here outer membrane is there and inner membrane is there. So a double-layered membrane, the nuclear envelope separates contents of the nucleus from the cellular cytoplasm. The envelope is riddled with holes called as nuclear pores that allow specific types and sizes of molecules to pass back and forth between the nucleus and cytoplasm. I will zoom. These are the pores you can see, which are called as nuclear pores, and these nuclear pores allows the movement of different types of molecules between nucleus and cytoplasm. It is also attached to a network of tubules called as endoplasmic reticulum, where protein synthesis takes place. These tubules extend throughout the cell and manufacture the biochemical products that a particular cell type is genetically coded to produce. So overall, nucleus is the most important structure present in a plant cell. And now we will explore all the aspects of structure of nucleus in details. So we will proceed further and we will see parts of a nucleus. So nucleus can be divided into these four major parts. First part is nuclear envelope, then nuclear pores, nucleolus and chromatin. Again I will go back and I will show you in the diagram. So this is nuclear envelope, nucleolus, chromatin and ribosomes, nucleoplasm and nuclear pore. So these are the main parts of nucleus, and now we will see each part in details along with structure and particular information. This is the first part 3D diagram of nuclear envelope, in which you can see nuclear pores are there, nucleus is there, nuclear envelope, chromatin, and at center small nucleolus is also there. So the first and most important part of nucleus is known as nuclear envelope. The nuclear envelope is a double-layered membrane that encloses the contents of the nucleus during most of the cell's life cycle. So whenever you will study or you will see this structure, it is always double-layered membrane which encloses contents of the nucleus during cell's life cycle. If anybody wants to see this structure of nuclear envelope, then we have to use electron microscope. We cannot see nuclear envelope structure in a normal microscope. To see this structure, we have to use electron microscope. And when we see nucleus in electron microscope, the nuclear envelope is always double-layered membrane, and the space between the layer is called as perinuclear space and appears to connect with the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So whenever nuclear envelope is there, it will show outer membrane and inner membrane because it is made up of double layered membrane. So the first membrane is called outer membrane and inner or second membrane is called as inner membrane, and in between outer and inner membrane there is a space which is called as perinuclear space, and that perinuclear space appears to connect with the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The envelope is perforated with tiny holes called as nuclear pores. You can see nuclear pores clearly in this 3D diagram of nuclear envelope. So the envelope is perforated with tiny holes known as nuclear pores. These pores regulate the passage of molecules between the nucleus and cytoplasm, permitting some to pass through the membrane but not others. So, these nuclear pores are helpful to pass few molecules inside and outside. The inner surface has a protein lining called nuclear lamina which binds to chromatin and other nuclear components. During mitosis, or we can call it as cell division. So during cell division, the nuclear envelope gets disintegrates but reforms as the two cells complete their formation and the chromatin begins to unravel and disperse. So this is how we can say information about nuclear envelope. And the most important thing is that the nuclear envelope is always double layered membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane, and the space between these two membranes is called as perinuclear space. Nuclear envelope also shows presence of small pores called as nuclear pores, and these pores regulate the passage of molecules between the nucleus and cytoplasm. So this is all about nuclear envelope. So now whatever I spoke about nuclear envelope is given in these slides for your reference. Now we will move from nuclear pore to the next organ, that is known as nuclear pore. So first we saw nuclear envelope. Now we will see nuclear pore. Again, the same diagram is there. I will zoom the diagram. You can see these small yellow colored dots are there, which are called as nuclear pore. And these nuclear pores, as told earlier, regulate the passage of molecules between the nucleus and cytoplasm, permitting some to pass through the membrane but not others. So these nuclear pores will allow some molecules to pass and some molecules won't pass from this nuclear pore. Now we will see the detailed information about these nuclear pores. So the nuclear envelope is perforated with holes called as nuclear pores, and these pores regulate the passage of molecules between nucleus and cytoplasm. It means whenever nuclear pores are there, there is movement of few molecules inside and outside the cytoplasm and nucleus, and these nuclear pores will allow few molecules to enter in the nucleus cytoplasm, and it will not allow few molecules. So it is called as semi-permeable property. So it means nuclear pores will permit some molecules to pass through the membranes, but at the same time it not permit some molecules to pass through the membrane. So this nucleopore or these nuclear pores are called as semi-permeable. Building blocks for DNA and RNA are allowed into the nucleus, as well as molecules that provide the energy for constructing the genetic material. So it is totally semi-permeable, and hence it will allow few molecules to enter, but at the same time it will reject the entry of few molecules through cytoplasm and nucleus. The nuclear pores are fully permeable to small molecules up to the size of smallest proteins, but they form as a barrier keeping most large molecules out of the nucleus. So in case of their permeability, these nuclear pores are fully permeable to small molecules having a size of smallest proteins, but they don't allow the entry of large molecules out of the nucleus. Some larger proteins, such as histones, are given admittance into the nucleus. Each pore is surrounded by an elaborate protein structure called as nuclear pore complex, which probably selects large molecules for entrance into the nucleus. So this is how the information about nuclear pore. Now we will proceed with third part of cell nucleus, and it is called as nucleolus. And again, this is very important part of a cell nucleus. The nucleolus is a membraneless organelle within the nucleus that manufactures ribosomes, cells protein producing structure. So nucleolus is cell organelle which is having absence of membrane, and hence it is called as membraneless. So the nucleus is membraneless organelle within the nucleus that manufactures ribosomes. Through the microscope, that means through the electron microscope, the nucleolus looks like a large dark spot within the nucleus. So if we saw the structure of nucleolus under electron microscope, then it will look like a large dark spot within the nucleus. Nucleus may contain up to 4 nucleoli, but within each species the number of nucleoli is fixed. After a cell division, or whenever cell divides, a nucleolus is formed when chromosomes are brought together into nucleolar organizing regions. And during cell division, the nucleolus gets disappears. So whenever cell divides, a nucleolus is formed, but during cell division the nucleolus gets disappeared. Some studies suggest that the nucleolus may be involved with cellular aging, and therefore it may affect the aging of an organism. So few scientists have done research extensively on structure and functions of nucleolus, and as per their research they come to the conclusion that some studies, it means those studies, suggest that the nucleolus may be involved with cellular aging, and hence it may affect the aging of an organism. So this is all about nucleolus. And again, in this slide, whatever I spoke is given for your reference. Now we will proceed to the last and the most important part of nucleus, and it is called as chromatin, or also it is known as chromosomes. You can see the diagram is there. Again, it is 3D animated diagram. I will zoom, then you can see a intercoiled structure is there, and this structure is called as chromatin or chromosomes. Now I will show you the single portion of the structure, and it will look like this. In this diagram you can see that chromosome is there, which is in blue color, and at the base of the chromosome very small thread like structures are there, and those are called as chromatins. When chromatin gets extended, you can see presence of histones and nucleosome along with double helix structure of DNA molecule. And this DNA is finally showing nitrogen bases, that is pairing of nitrogen bases. So this is the structure of chromatin, and at the top a single chromosome is there in blue color. So chromatin is also very important part of a nucleus. So chromatin is packed inside the nucleus of every plant cell, which is divided into 46 individual molecules. So whenever we want to study the chromatin or chromosomes of plant cell, chromatin or chromosomes are always packed inside the nucleus of every plant cell DNA, which is divided into 46 individual molecules. So these are the structures which are thread-like structures and that are packed inside the nucleus of every plant cell DNA. So in plant cell, large amount of DNA is there, and these chromosomes or chromatins are packed inside the structure of DNA, or in simple words, chromatins are present inside the plant cell DNA. Throughout the life cycle of a cell, cell means here I am referring to plant cell. So if we consider the life cycle of a plant cell, then chromatin fibers takes on different forms inside the nucleus. If we consider interphase, then during interphase, when the cell is carrying out its normal functions, the chromatin is dispersed throughout the nucleus in what appears to be a tangle of fibers. This exposes the euchromatin and makes it available for transcription process. So chromatin is also very much important part of the cell nucleus. Now we will proceed further with the next information, and that is functions of nucleus. So our title of presentation is structure and functions of nucleus. Here we have finished with structure of nucleus. In that we saw four major parts of nucleus, that is nuclear envelope, nuclear pores, nucleolus and chromatin or chromosomes. Now we will see functions of a nucleus. What are the important functions of a nucleus? So the most important and major function of nucleus is that it controls the heredity characteristics of an organism. In my previous lecture, I spoke about heredity. Heredity is nothing but transfer of characters from one generation to another generation. In my previous lecture, I spoke about definition of genetics, and genetics is nothing but study of heredity and variations. We always say that he is looking like his father, she is looking like her mother. So what we say is nothing but transfer of hereditary characteristics from one generation to another generation. You all know that whenever new offsprings are produced, characters are transported from parents to their children, and these characters are called as hereditary characters, and the nucleus is responsible for controlling these hereditary characters of an organism. Second function is it main it main it mainly regulates cellular metabolism through controlling synthesis of particular enzymes. So nucleus is responsible for maintaining the metabolism through controlling synthesis of a particular enzymes. Now we will see what are enzymes. So enzymes are chemicals or molecules which are responsible for catalyzing chemical reactions happening inside the plant body. You know that plants are living organisms and there are so many reactions happening regularly inside the plant body. For example, you know all photosynthesis, respiration, oxidation, reduction, different types of photosynthetic pathways, glycolysis. So such all reactions requires particular chemicals or molecules to catalyze those reactions. And enzymes are the molecules which helps in catalyzing particular reactions. And the main cellular metabolism through controlling synthesis of particular enzyme is the function of nucleus. So nucleus is responsible for synthesis of particular enzymes and those enzymes will afterwards help in catalyzing different chemical reactions happening inside the plant body. Third function of nucleus is that it is responsible for protein synthesis, cell division, growth and differentiation. So whenever the growth of organism is going on, it is as a result of cell division and protein synthesis, and nucleus is responsible for the process of protein synthesis, cell division, cell growth and cell differentiation. Next function of nucleus is that nucleus stores heredity material in the form of DNA and RNA. So as told earlier, whenever new generation is formed, the characters are transported or transferred from parents to their children or offspring, and these hereditary characters are present inside the DNA and RNA, and these DNA and RNA are stored inside the nucleus, and hence the most important function of nucleus is that it stores heredity material in the form of DNA, and it also stores proteins and RNA. Next function is nucleus is site for transcription process in which mRNA or messenger RNA are produced for protein synthesis. So whenever the process of protein synthesis is going on, nucleus produces mRNA which help in the process of protein synthesis. So nucleus is a site for transcription process in which mRNAs are produced for the process of protein synthesis. Nucleus regulates the integrity of genes and gene expression. Whenever different types of genes are formed or whenever genes are expressing their characteristics, at that time nucleus plays an important role because it regulates the integrity of genes and it also controls gene expression. Nucleus also helps in exchange of DNA and RNA, which are known as heredity material, between the nucleus and the rest of the cell. So whenever there is exchange of DNA and RNA between nucleus and rest of the cell, then nucleus will help in this exchange of hereditary material. And the last function of nucleus is that nucleolus produces ribosomes and are known as protein factories. So Nucleolus, which is present along with nucleus, produces ribosomes, and those ribosomes are known as protein factories because the entire process of protein synthesis will take place at ribosomes, and hence the ribosomes are known as protein factories. So these are the functions of nucleus. The first and most important function is nucleus controls the heredity characteristics of an organism. Nucleus is responsible for protein synthesis, cell division, growth, and differentiation. Nucleus stores hereditary material in the form of DNA. It also stores proteins and RNA. Nucleus is a site for transcription process in which messenger RNA or mRNA are produced for the process of protein synthesis. Nucleus helps in exchange of DNA and RNA between the nucleus and the rest of the cell. Nucleus also regulates the integrity of genes and gene expression. So with these functions, nucleus is the most important cell organelle of plant cell because it shows the presence of important part known as genes, DNA and RNA. So this is all about the structure and functions of nucleus. To summarize this lecture, I will take 1 or 2 minutes. So in starting, we saw the definition of nucleus. So nucleus is a highly specialized organelle that serve as the information and administrative center of the cell. And it has two main functions. First is storage of hereditary characters, and second is metabolism, growth and protein synthesis. Nucleus shows four major parts: nuclear envelope, nuclear pores, nucleolus and chromatin. So this is all about structure and functions of nucleus. Thank you.